podcast, Cinderella Chats. I'm your host, Cinderella Field. Yes, that's really my name, along with your co-host, Sandy Hunter. We are so excited to be here to share some insight about life, love, and relationships. So let's get to it. Hey, Sandy.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, I'm wonderful, except I'm still I know my voice does not sound normal, so I apologize to all of you.
I think that a lot of that's going around. It has just been, but you know what is very odd to me, and you can tell me if this is odd to you. I have a sister that's a nurse, and I have a lot of medical people in my family. And it's just so odd to me that this year we're not seeing that little COVID bug on the screen saying, get your shot. And this year in the hospitals, from what I am understanding in the doctor's offices, they're not pushing the COVID shot. My own personal doctor, when I went in a couple weeks ago when I had bronchitis, do you have your flu shot? No, I'm not taking the flu shot. Oh, we need to talk about the shingle shot. No, I'm good. What about your hip? You need a new hip beat. No, I'm great. Never said anything about a COVID shot. What do you think about that? Is that not weird?
Do you really want me to talk about COVID shots?
Girl,
vaccines?
with 3 years, this past 3 years, that COVID shot has just been basically crammed down our throat. You have ambulances set up on the side of the road giving the COVID shot.
Well, you didn't just have them on the side of the road. You had people set up as a business.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
On the corners at the lights.
So what has happened? Because the new JN1 Omicron variant is out now, and it gives all this list of the same, to me, symptoms that we had back in 2019. So
what, the flu or COVID?
COVID.
Because now
so
everybody has the flu. They don't have COVID.
I know. That's why I'm like, what in the world is happening? So did the shots, are we done with them? Did they just disappear, or what?
That's all I got to say. Maybe it went back to China.
Oh, what's your sixth sense telling you, Cinderella?
Does that sound right?
Oh my gosh. I
have no
myself.
Well, it's kind of like we started to get into, when we were talking last time about the political scene.
Right.
We might as well. You know what I see right now? I just see a big black pot.
Of crap in it, or what?
A big black pot setting on, a heaping fire. And hocus pocus sitting there just stirring the pot, and that's all of that good stuff, and going, oh, what shall we do next?
Yeah, that's what
kind of thing. Like. You know what I mean?
Yes. I'm just like, okay, well.
And then that's, oh, sister.
I'm just like, what is happening? That's what I told my sister. I was like, are you seeing a lot of COVID? Well, we've seen, some COVID patients, but we are not. They told us that us personally don't have to take the COVID shot.
Well, okay. Well, I will just say this because I had the flu. I think it was the flu. Or maybe it was whatever.
We don't know.
No,
but I had something.
I had something. That's why I still have the residual. Sound like I do.
But you also had loss of smell, loss of taste, which is an inclination of, maybe COVID.
Well, but at first and my throat was scratchy.
Yeah. And you had body aches.
Then I had body aches. But not so bad. And so I thought, okay. And I was getting dressed and I looked at myself and I was like, oh, I don't look like myself really. But I'm going to go ahead and finish getting dressed and go to work because I didn't have a temperature at that time because I took my temperature because I'm a responsible person.
One would like to think everyone.
Not everyone is responsible. No. I saw some people that I just wanted to go, look, you sicko, go home. It was obvious. Stuff dripping down their nose.
I know. It's almost like you're losing spinal fluid. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. So, and then I, drove down, got to the street that I turned, and I was like, man, my body really hurts. And I was like now it hurts so bad that I could barely
Yeah,
move the
because I
steering
think
wheel.
I think I called you that night after you made it to your bed.
102.7 was my temperature when I got home.
Yep, you sounded terrible.
And I laid in my bed for the next 3 days. I had to take Jude to board for 3 days, and bless his heart, I felt so bad for him, but I needed to get well. And I mean, I started on that medicine that starts with an O that's 15 letters long.
Yep.
And I have ivermectin here. I started taking ivermectin. I started taking, raw honey. Got some raw honey, and I had limes and lemons. And I mean, I started making all of that stuff and doing my Chinese medicine nasal spray and, I mean, everything that I could, spraying my throat with what Victoria gave me or told me about to go and get. And 3 days, I wasn't probably well, but I didn't have a fever anymore. So I went back to work. But man, it wiped my energy.
It just wreaks havoc on your body from what I understand. But it's just crazy to me that we just push all these things and then crickets. And I almost have to wonder if the government knows something that they don't want us to know.
Like what?
Like, did those shots cause different things in different people? Do they cause this new turbo cancer that I've heard about? Do they cause for
the heart issues?
The heart enlarged issues? Do they cause for our 28-year-old adopted daughter? She now has Hashimoto's, and she has
issues?
They found precancerous things on her thyroid, and she's had the shot and all the boosters because she's a paramedic. So makes you kind of go, wonder what?
Well, I would just say subscribe to Tucker Carlson.
Here she goes again, people.
I'm sorry. Is her crush. I mean, I love him because he has people on there and they discuss these things.
Absolutely.
And they know much more than,
they're informative. They're very informative. And in anything I am saying, I am not a conspiracy theorist by no means. But
my children thought that I was until they were told that I wasn't.
Right. 1 + 1 is 2. And that's the only answer you're going to get. And if it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, more than likely it's a duck.
Yes.
So you need to set up people and think, how much do we really know about our government and our healthcare? And
the who?
Yes,
the who. Cindy Lulu says,
yes,
the who.
Yeah, really, how much do we really know what's happening around us? I'm one of those people, until I really am questioned about it, a lot of times I just flitter around. I have my own things going on. I don't pay attention to a lot of things.
Well, guess what? That's exactly what they want you to do.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
When you have something thrown in your face, like my mom, who we have discussed before, she's got terminal cancer. And the type of cancer that she has is a cancer that only 7 and 1.8 million people get annually. So leave it to my mom. If she's going to do it big, she's done it big. But for a family that's never had cancer in their family before, and all of a sudden this pops up. Now, this is a woman who's took the shot, took the boosters, because she said she would rather be the guinea pig for her children and her grandchildren, especially if they're going to enforce it at the schools. Now, see, that was talked about at one point in time, but now that's crickets. And that's what I'm dealing with this week, is just, where has all the hoopla gone? And what are we going to be left holding? All of these younger generation, I'm going to say 50 and below now, are popping up with heart issues,
Even
and
20-year-olds. No, I mean, in their 20s.
autoimmune disease issues, and all of this stuff. And what is the common denominator in the majority of them?
Who?
I'm not going to say it, but it's not rocket science, people, you know. And I don't even know how I started on that tangent, but I'm just going to say, be your own judgment. My daughter has decided not to vaccinate some vaccines. I'm not going to say all, but she's decided not to vaccinate our grandchildren with particular vaccines. We have a cousin who had a little boy, and he was just talking and walking and doing everything he was supposed to do. And he got a super vax, which is a vaccine that they're giving kids all these vaccines at one time. Mm-hmm. And after that, it just seemed like he started inverting. He stopped talking. He stopped doing the things he was doing. And now he has autism. Mm-hmm. Now, I can't personally say that these super vaxes are causing autism, but it's just too coincidental.
Again,
you know,
go subscribe to Tucker Carlson and listen to him talk to Kennedy. Okay. He knows all about the vaccines. And he says he's not anti-vax. Mm-hmm. However, I mean, it's a very interesting story.
Right.
About how that all happened.
And even my own grandson, I will say my littlest grandson, he's 3. He'll be 4 on February 17th. But when he was 18 months old, he was eating, flourishing, talking, the whole 9 yards. He got a super vax. And for 2 weeks, he was so sick. And he kind of reverted too. Now he is, my daughter will tell you, I mean, and we don't think he's autistic, but he may be on the very high realm of it because he has certain tendencies. He's turned very picky about his food. For the longest time, he wouldn't go barefooted. It was a sensory thing. He was not like that before that vaccine. So I agreed with my daughter, they're your children. When we were young, we didn't have super vaxes. So
no, we did not.
And as parents listening, just do your research. That's all I'm asking. Do your research. If you feel that it's safe for your child, you're your child's advocate. You're the best thing that child has. Make sure you're doing the right things for your children. If you know what I mean? If you believe in them, great. And that's what I even told my daughter. I was like, even if they would just break them up again and give one at one time and one at another, and not all 6 of them at one time. I just can't believe that.
Well, Lisa was a very young mom when she had Luke.
Right.
She was 20. And so she asked me to go with her to the pediatrician. And I'm not going to go into what the pediatrician tried to do, but Lisa absolutely refused to let them give him a multi-pack of shots. Okay. Mm-hmm. And Chris, was in the military. And my son has one of the strongest immune systems I've ever seen. And I watched what those vaccines before they sent him off to Iraq did to him, broke his entire body out. You can't tell me, because there's one thing that I know a lot about just because I'm a big researcher. And
right.
I got an autoimmune disorder, a low grade of Hashimoto's. I just went searching for what caused it. And for me, it was breast implants. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I learned so much about how to read blood work, what it should be, what it shouldn't be. I mean,
I've always said you should be a PA. You're in the wrong line of business.
Well, and I mean, I changed everything around our home, our water, our drinking water, the way we ate. I went to Hippocrates and lived for 3 weeks and learned about the gut. I mean, I did this back in 2006. So I've been living that way for quite some time.
Right.
Okay. Why gluten is not safe for us anymore because of the GMO stuff. And I mean, and anytime we put anything into our body that does not belong there, the body's going to respond because God made it that way.
Absolutely.
Including shots. Okay. And here's another thing. Again, go subscribe to Tucker Carlson and listen to some of his
Is he paying
interviews.
you? Is what I need to know. Is he paying you?
No, but maybe we could have him on. Maybe he'll come and talk to us.
Maybe he will come in and talk to us.
Yes. Or maybe he'll invite us to his little cabin that he does all these interviews.
Yes.
In. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, that'd be great.
Tucker, we'll get on the plane. But anyway, and I mean, you've never spoken to 2 women like us anyway, right? Because women as podcasters,
yes,
are a rarity.
Yeah, few and far between.
That's right. Because you know who listens to podcasts? Mostly men.
Yeah.
So women, did you hear that? We want to help you be informed as possible and to get the truth. That's why I'm saying go subscribe to Tucker Carlson because I mean, Vivek Ramaswamy talked about the vaccines in particular. Did you know? And it was back in I can't remember if it was in 46 or 49 when they passed a law that you cannot sue a pharmaceutical company or a physician for giving you a vaccine, a shot that harms you.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
And you know what he said? He said, when people harm you, you have the right to sue them. Yeah, but does that mean you get justice? Oh, you don't even want me to get started on justice and what Lady Justice is. No wonder she put that blindfold on. She did not want to see what was going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
But so he said that would be one of the first things that he changed because it has harmed people. Even Kennedy has said that. And the vaccines are not really timed. They're not tested to make sure that they're okay because, you know, I mean, besides testing them on mice and animals and things like that, and then you stick them into a human's body. I mean, and there are things that go on in people's bodies like gene mutations. I have one. It's called MTHFR, and I only have one copy of it. And it's the least invasive copy. But I call it the mother effer gene. And at least 50% of the population has it, maybe even more. And that means that your body does not methylate 100%. So I take methylfolate every evening. And if a body doesn't methylate like it's supposed to, then you're not moving toxins out of your body. And so where are they going? They're getting stuck in the mitochondria, which is your cells. And that's very hard to get back out. So, I mean, Sandy knows she's seen me do some weird stuff. I got to take this, do that.
No, I totally get it. But, you know, my deal is, okay, so the government creates all these vaccines. I get it. And we're adults. We can say we should be able to govern and say what our children have and what they don't have.
Really? We can't even say what our children get to be taught in schools.
I know, but that's what's crazy. So you go to school and before they can enter kindergarten, they have to have all these vaccines. So they're trying to force your hand. But what people don't realize, some people don't realize, is that you can take you can sign off on a sheet and take a religious way out and say, listen, I don't believe this for my child. Or,
girl, you would not believe what I had to do not to take stuff when I worked at the hospital.
Oh, I guess I definitely, because me and my husband wrote letters.
I mean,
because a lot of that, being a Christian, a lot of these vaccines are derived from fetus.
Aborted fetuses.
A lot of them are done in ways that are just against our biblical beliefs. So we wrote letters and we signed off on a lot of things for doctors and nurses that we know, because each individual should have that right to decide what they want to put in their body. You shouldn't have to be threatened with losing your job and the means of taking care of yourself and your family because you won't take an injection. Now, my best friend, her husband, his company, when this first came out in 2020, forced his hand because he is an outside salesperson. So he's around a lot of different people all over the country, all over the world. And like he goes to Spain, Amsterdam every year for these conventions. And they basically told him, you have to have this shot. Took the first one. Do you know his heart enlarged within a week's time? He had such a horrible reaction. He had to wear a heart monitor for like a month. I mean, it was insane. And I'm like, I don't think that's something that should be enforced. That to me is a personal. Now, don't get me wrong. If it's a childhood disease that spreads, measles, chicken pox, stuff like that, great. I don't want to send my kid to school if they have measles or chicken pox. So there comes a time of responsibility for the parent. If you're not going to vaccinate your child, don't put them on the bus if they have an outbreak of something. I mean, we've almost eradicated all those childhood diseases.
Well, I know, but okay. Do you want to talk about the immune system?
Sure.
I mean, it doesn't scare me to get the flu.
Right.
Okay. It doesn't, because I know that when I get it, whatever variant I get, I'm going to build up an immunity to it.
Sure.
And it's so in building up an immunity to something, builds your immune system stronger. I mean, it's just the truth. And when I worked at the hospital, I knew that I could not take anything, right? Not even the flu shot. So I spoke with someone that worked there that was in top position. Okay. And said, here's the deal. I can't do this because, well, just get a letter from your doctor. And, has your doctor said that? So what the person asked me, of course. So I gave them the letter and they said, well, you can't come to work here unless you take it. And the attorney that I was involved with, because we were about to go to trial back then, said, well, I mean, you have sent out over 200 resumes. It'll look better if you have some sort of job. It's Cinderella. It's not going to hurt you. Come on.
Right.
I just felt like I had no other choice, but I felt like I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I thought, well, maybe, I'm just being ridiculous. Within 20 minutes of taking that, and they had the letter from my doctor. Okay. And within 20 minutes, I had to go sit down someplace because I was so dizzy. And then over the weekend, I noticed, and you've seen my legs. They're pretty strong and muscular and all that stuff, right? So, and I have great balance. And then all of a sudden, my legs were really weak and stuff. And I thought, what's going on? But I didn't have any pain in my arm. And within 30 days, I had a mild heart attack.
You're allergic to something in it.
That's correct. And it was I, of course, went to the computer, started doing all this research. Oh my gosh, I have Guillain-Barré. It's just like,
I'm dying next week.
I'm going to end up, in the hospital and ICU. And
which is the worst thing. My mother's always said, stay off of the computer whenever you are sick, or you'll have yourself dead by next week.
But I will say this. It did give them an opportunity to look at everything about my heart. I have the heart health of a 30-year-old firefighter and 0.1 plaque.
That's great.
Yeah. So,
well, that was good to know.
Well, yeah, that was good to know. But what made me have, it was so obvious. And so then the doctors every year gave me a letter that said this caused this. And it was very clear, and I still had to fill out all this stuff. And then the stuff that I had to fill out for, the new one that came along in 2020, I mean, it was ridiculous. I had to tell very personal stuff about my belief system. I mean, very personal stuff. Maybe someday I'll share that letter, you know? So I'm just saying we need to educate ourselves. So again, I'm just going to say Tucker Carlson's got some great interviews at tuckercarlson.com.
And they're listed too by topic.
That is
so
correct.
You can look and see what kind of topic. If you hear what we're talking about, you want to listen to the injection one, whatever, election, just look on
Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, you can see
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, you can see the topic and click on it.
Yes.
But he is a very
Alex Jones,
very good speaker. I mean, he knows his stuff. I mean, you're not wrong there.
Yes, he does. I mean, well, he invites people on, and he's a great interviewer. I mean, he just is.
And she's just dying to get on and be interviewed by Tucker Carlson.
I want to interview him. No, I mean, he's a great guy. He loves his wife. He's been married forever.
He's a great
He loves his
being.
children. I mean, he is all about this country for the right reason, not just for himself and his wife, but his children and his grandchildren to come and all of that stuff.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. He's just been, he's a great guy. Great.
He's very down to earth.
Yes. And once again, research for yourself. Cinderella and I both, she's more of a researcher than I am. But when I don't know something or understand something and I want to know, hey, we don't have to go to the old Britannia books anymore. We can get on Google and research just about anything that we want.
But do be careful. You want to make sure that you go to the right places. That's why I say tuckercarlson.com is a really good place to go.
Gosh. And once again, I'm saying, seek it out for yourself. Go to our website and as always, listen, subscribe.
Yes.
Be one of us.
Yes.
We would love to hear. Tell us a friend. Tell us your story. Leave us all kinds of comments and whatever you choose to do. But
don't be scared. That's what my friend in Texas says. Don't be scared. I mean, really, don't be. I mean, even if you don't believe what we believe, I mean, we don't care.
But I would
because
really
everybody
like to
has
hear.
a right to their opinion,
right? And I would really like to hear anybody that's had any issues with injections and shots and that kind of thing, just out of curiosity to see if we're the only weird ones walking around wondering why there's so many crickets right now.
Yeah. And what is really the truth about it all?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So until next time, when we explore only God knows what, I can promise you this much. With the best of our ability, it'll be about the truth.
Yes.
Where life, love, and relationships are concerned. Until next Tuesday.
See you then.
If you enjoyed the show today, share it with your friends so they can listen in to our conversations about life, love, and relationships. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Cinderella Chats, the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. We look forward to our Tuesdays together and know you will too.